Alright, quick update on green Satoshi tokens. So, a lot of people have been asking me to cover this since the most recent spike, and this reminds me exactly of the last couple of spikes that we've been doing. I do like to cover GST a lot on my channel, and when we do zoom back, you can see this is not our first rodeo. Let me actually clear up the drawings so I can talk about what I want to talk about a little bit easier. So, let's zoom out and look at the last couple of spikes to the upside we've had. So we've seen this time over again. 69%. I should probably say the market structure first. You can see high, lower 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 high. I feel like this is something that not a lot of channels do. They look at the 1 hourly time frame and say, we've broken bullish, we're going to the moon, but you don't zoom out and realize that we're literally absolutely getting battered right now. So I do think at some point in time, as I've been saying in all my green Satoshi token videos, I'm definitely not a hater of this project. I'm a trader and I do look to buy this at the cheapest level possible. I just don't think the bottom is in at this moment in time. And let's talk about the last couple of spikes that we've had. So massive run to the upside, that was a fib. 42% increase, massive slap back down to the downside. You can see not a lot of volume came in either. You can see a tiny bit of green volume stepping around this trend, and it was followed up by red bears stepping right back into the trend. With this, we came up 140%. And you can see a singular pump in volume backed up by no follow-up. And what happened? Massive landslide right over here as well. We saw a very quick 58% pump, massive spike in volume, no backing up of the volume, and we slid back down to the downside. What do we see over here? Massive spike up, 69%, no follow-up in volume from this candle, fall to the downside. What have we just witnessed since the last massive spike in green Satoshi token? A 33% run to the upside, huge volume coming in on this trend. And what happened the next hour? Bears once again came and smacked the trend right back to the downside. And I think the high is already in. I really struggle to believe that we would be heading up too much higher for green Satoshi token. You can very much see that the 13 EMA has been something that we've just been getting absolutely battered underneath. We've crossed this a few times, and every time we have, it has spelled absolute dire repercussions for the cryptocurrency price. Now, looking at what we've done in the past 8 hours, or should I say the past 24 hours really, we've come close to the 13 EMA, and I think if we just lollygag for a tiny bit more, maybe another 12 hours, another day or so, we are going to batter into this once again, and we're going to come down to my macro price target. So we were talking about this price target in the last video. I don't know why we have two of these. When I initially predicted this, I was calling for this 54% drop. We drew this since the last video. I think I was saying we broke down from when I started this prediction. We broke down into this support box, and then I was saying, okay, we're going to continue this trend and go to the downside. We've obviously had a spike since then, but in the last video, we are still down 26% since we made this prediction. And I think this is still coming into fruition. So 11.3 cent. This is where I think we're coming for green Satoshi token. I feel like I really don't need to draw out a lot of momentum indicators. Look at the market structure. We've looked at basic market structure. Everything's in a lower low, lower high trajectory. It was only, and bear in mind, when you do look at these lower lows, let's just start from here. You've got a lower low, massive spike. Lower low, massive spike. You basically broke back down to the low, crabbed sideways for a prolonged period of time. What do we do once we established another lower low? Once again, we had a massive spike to the upside. What do these all have in common apart from the market structure that we've just talked about right now? They were single pumps in volume with no continuation. And unfortunately, this is the market structure that I think we're dealing with right now. So drawing our fib from the low to the high, to be honest, we probably could draw it from the back here because it looks like we retested the 618, so I would draw it from up here. We've broken up, we've broken back down, broken down to the 786, and we're currently getting stuck underneath the 618 Fibonacci. So in the very short term, 18.32 cent is the price to beat. It would be preferable to take out basically 19 cent. Even if we do take out that region, you would still be having to worry about the prospect of once again breaking above this most recent lower high, because I don't think we'll be able to get above 21.7 cent. I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just looking at the previous trends that have panned out on this. And it also looks like, before we do wrap up this video, The 1 hourly squeeze momentum indicator is pushing to the downside. It also looks like we're kind of trapped in a triangle pattern right now, and it looks like the apex of this is going to be happening very, very soon. Let's see how you can draw this. I'd say this would probably be your line of best fit. Yeah, you can draw it from the candle bodies, and then this would draw out a tiny bit more. It really doesn't matter. A line of best fit will draw at something like this. It does look like we are still stuck within this structure. So like I said, I do find the breakdown much more likely than the break back up. Keep your eyes on this for Green Satoshi Token. Once again, we do need to recognize that we are currently littered with lower lows and lower highs. And my only problem with buying this project for the mid to long term is these type of move to earn projects, they can only survive in a bear market. Now, if you understand how move to earns work, then you'll completely understand that. If you don't, I'll give you a quick rundown before we do wrap up the video. Specifically for GST, because it works a tiny bit different than other move to earns, because GST is part of the Step App Steppen project. And subsequently, or it's part of Steppen, sorry, Step App is Fitfire, so it's part of the Steppen project. And, you know, people buy green Satoshi, or people get rewarded green Satoshi token for using the Steppen app, and subsequently you can imagine it is a hyperinflationary token. What does a hyperinflationary token mean when there's no new buyers in the market? It means that because the supply is going up, and because the demand either stays stagnant or decreases, the price has to come down. That's basic economics 101. If the demand stays the same and the supply increases, the price comes down. So that is the basics of this. This is the same with all the move to earns, and this is why they're not built to survive a bear market, because they need a constant new flow of investors coming in and propping up the price. Am I saying that this is garbage and it's going to absolute zero and it's never going to see another pump again? I'm absolutely not saying that. GST, GMT, Fitfy, a couple of these move to earns I am 100% looking at to buy the dip when I do believe the bottom is in. I don't think this is going to zero. I'm not hating on this project. I'm simply saying this is not built to survive in a bearish territory. And subsequently, if you are buying the dip now, if you've been buying the dip in the past week, if you've been buying the dip in the past month, if you've been buying the dip in the past 2 months, then it's very evident that you've been getting absolutely wrecked from the all-time high. So once again, market structure is very indicative, 98% down, and the volume is exponentially increasing. I do not think the bottom is in. I think we've got another leg to the downside before we can even consider the bottom being near. So with that being said, I've said my price target for the short term many times. Down here at 11 cent was my previous price target, but as this is only about a 30% drop down from the low, and as the market cap is about 30 million, which is fairly low, but bear in mind we are in a risk-off environment, and because the market cap is so low, it only takes a couple more panic sellers to push us down to the next level. So I am now re-amending my price target. Yes, I'm going to keep this price prediction on the screen for this move down to 11.25 cent. I will keep that there until we do hit the price target. But with that being said, my next macro price target prediction for us to move within the next month, maybe the next couple of weeks, maybe the next week, is down here to 8.77 cent. That's all I've got for you for GST. I would definitely advise to not buy this until we start switching back bullish on the higher time frames. Look at the weekly. We don't even need to switch over to the Heikin Ashis to show you that, you know, this is very much getting beaten down and it is performing very poorly right now. That's all I've got for you today. As always, Cowboy out. Peace.